If you've ever tried to lose fat but couldn't sustain your progress or you couldn't maintain that diet because of your grueling hunger, I'm here to tell you that there is a way to increase your muscle mass, decrease the amount of fat mass you have on your body while keeping your hunger at bay. This first one may seem counterintuitive, but it is to eat 3 bigger meals throughout the day instead of 6 smaller ones. The old school way of losing weight was that you would eat smaller portions throughout the day a little bit more frequently, and that would keep you full and satiated for the entire day. But a lot of studies actually shown, and I can attest from my own clients, that if people have just bigger meals less frequently, meals tend to be a lot more filling, more satiating. It will allow you to actually feel full and satiated while you are dieting. As a result, make sure that each of those 3 meals are packed with protein, fats, carbs, and fiber. That leads me to my second point. Make sure that each meal has at minimum 30 grams of protein. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient of them all and actually helps with your body recomposition. This is important because you don't want to lose your muscle mass while you are dieting, because this will downregulate your metabolism and you are at a greater risk of losing your progress that you have made during your diet. Not to mention that it will increase your risk of osteoporosis and type 2 diabetes. Protein will also increase the satiety hormone peptide YY, which will literally tell your brain that you are full and satiated. The third thing would be to pair your protein with a fat source. Think of protein as king and fat as the queen. So you really want to ensure pairing both within a meal, because what fat does is actually increase the gastric emptying time of that meal in your stomach, which will also help with your satiety. This is probably why most protein sources have a source of fat within them. For example, eggs or ground beef. All those tips lead up and are so important to incorporate, especially in your first meal. And that's why this fourth tip is to ensure that your first meal of the day, whether you're intermittent fasting or not, is filled with protein and fat that will increase those satiety hormones so that you're not mindlessly snacking during the day. I know for a lot of women prior to working with me would only have like a protein bar or a coffee for breakfast, and then get to lunchtime, they're snacking in between lunch and like their actual meals. And then of course they come home and they just raid the cupboards, because of course they were not set up for success in the beginning of the day. So that is why I put a huge emphasis on your very first meal. Now, working together, I teach them how to structure their nutrition so that it is in line with their goals, so that they are not feeling super snacky and hungry throughout the day. In addition to that, you want to make sure that your first meal is not filled with refined carbohydrates like muffins, like donuts, like croissants, and you want to fill those carbs up with starches or even veggies, because it's going to help you feel a lot more full and satisfied. Carbs have a lot of fiber for the most part, especially if they are non-starchy veggies. They're going to help stretch your stomach and help send the signal to your brain that you are feeling full. I have tons of recipes on my Instagram page that you may want to check out if you are struggling with your protein and fiber intake. Next tip would be to stick to mainly low glycemic index foods. The glycemic index is a measure of how much food will increase your blood sugar levels. So if you have mainly high glycemic index foods in your diet, your blood sugar levels are going to be very elevated. And if you incorporate more low glycemic index foods, your blood sugar will stay up. And what happens when your blood sugar spikes up? It comes crashing down. And when it does come crashing down, that is when your cravings and your hunger kick in, which will make you more likely to snack on things you're not supposed to be snacking on. It's not a coincidence that most low glycemic index foods have the most fiber. So think of artichokes, think of avocados, think of all the berries. Those are foods that you want to incorporate into your diet, and less of the muffins and the croissants and the white rice that you can be also incorporating into your diet. Next tip would be to have mint tea after your meal, especially if you're usually craving some sort of sweet. Mint is a natural appetite suppressant, so if you are having that craving, just have some mint tea instead. You can just buy it dry from the grocery store or even use fresh mint in the summertime. Next tip you're probably tired of hearing, no pun intended, and that is to get more sleep. at least 7 to 8 hours, because if you don't get enough sleep, you're going to be increasing the amount of ghrelin that is secreted from your body. Ghrelin is the hormone that sends a signal that you are hungry. Ghrelin will also increase the amount of cortisol that is secreted at times when it's not supposed to be secreted. So if you have more cortisol, you are more likely to feel hungry and stressed out. Let me know which of these tips you are going to be trying out so that you can actually lose fat and keep it off for good. That's it for me, guys. Make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye!